Hey y'all, I'm Diann Bayes, founder of How Big is Texas and your go-to guide for Lone Star State adventures. Thanks for joining me on today's Texas Quest. Last week, I achieved a goal I set out to accomplish earlier this year. I finally checked off the last 3 counties in my quest to visit all 254 counties in the state of Texas. I know a few people who've accomplished this, some far earlier than I did, and I know others who have quite a few counties to go. Why would I want to do this, you might ask? Well, in 2020, when I started this whole How Big is Texas experiment, I drove the perimeter of the state so I could answer the question, how big is Texas? That answer is 3,331 miles if you drive around it, give or take a few. I say that because I could have certainly gotten a little closer to the edges if I had chosen to take some gravel roads, but I didn't want to do that. So 3,331 miles it was for me. After accomplishing that 5 years ago, I found myself wanting to do more with this crazy hobby I'd started, so I made a list to complete as the years went by. For example, I drove to every Buc-ee's in Texas with my best friend of 40 years. In case you were wondering, there were 34 locations a few years ago. We only ate our meals over that 4-day weekend from the convenience store of convenience stores. We made charcuterie trays in our hotel room and even did a Buc-ee's nugget and nuggie pairing with Texas wines. My BFF and I also drove to many of the most mispronounced towns and cities in the state to find out from the locals, how do you pronounce them? We visited 31 communities, including Burnett, Marquay, Cossie, Mahia, and Buda, to name a few. At the time, we called it part 1 of the mispronounced name tour because my followers gave me another 40 or 50 suggestions that we didn't get to on that trip. I created a How Big is Texas barbecue trail, a burger trail, and even a chips and salsa trail, again with the help of my followers on social media. That group loves to eat, and they know where the best grub in the Lone Star State is located, so who was I to argue with them? Lord knows there's enough of that happening without my contributing to it. If you want to learn more about those trails, check out my blog, howbigistexas.com, and your taste buds will lead the way. I've driven many of the Texas Heritage Trails regions, including Texas Lakes Trail in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Mountain Trail that includes Big Bend, and I've explored the Texas Forest Trail, which is located in the piney woods of East Texas, where you can also find the official international world headquarters of How Big is Texas. I've taken 4 days to cover the Independence Trail that includes places like the Alamo, Goliad, San Jacinto, and Washington on the Brazos. To make it extra special, I experienced those places during a celebration of Texas Independence Day. I've even driven an international tour of Texas, staying within the boundaries of the state, when I traversed the back roads to places like Carthage, Athens, and Paris. All in Texas, y'all. A few years ago, I stumbled upon a Facebook post from someone who wanted to visit every county in the state. I bought a Texas county scratch-off map. Yes, they exist, and I started determining the counties I'd visited and the counties I was missing. It turns out I'd been to almost all of them without even realizing it. I'm sure it helped that I've lived in 20 cities and towns across Texas, and that I've worked in the travel and tourism industry most of my career, almost all in Texas, which means I travel a lot. That certainly helped with the scratching off piece. On a side note, if you ever decide to drive around the state like I did, literally, you can knock off at least 70 right there, in case you were interested. Why did I decide to share this with you on a podcast? I'm 61 years old. When I was a younger woman, my grandmother was one of my favorite people in the world. At around the same age as I am now, she took up painting. I'll admit, I thought she was really old at the time. It's funny how our perspective changes when we get closer to the same age of a person we thought was ancient. Grandma decided to do something new and different, and she didn't let her age get in the way. A little over 10 years ago, a dear friend of mine, Susan Q, passed away. Prior to her death, we had many conversations about places she wanted to see and explore, but she never got to experience those things. Her passing helped me realize we only have one life and we should live it with abandon. Living our dash, if you will. The dash is what you find on a gravestone between your birth date and your death date, and it truly is the only thing that matters. That's why I'm talking about it today. I've driven the perimeter of Texas. I've visited all 254 counties in the state. What's next? My scratch-off county map has now been replaced by a scratch-off Texas State Park map. Of the 89 currently in the Lone Star State, I have visited 75 and have 14 to go. Who knows what's next after that? Rest assured, it will be something special and will be something that's all about Texas. What about you? Do you have a hankering to explore big miles, big tastes, and big adventures? What's stopping you? Don't forget to live your dash. That's a wrap for this episode, y'all. Make sure to follow How Big is Texas on social media or visit howbigistexas.com for more adventures. A friendly review would make my day. Until next time, from Texas, safe travels.